All right, everybody. Welcome to uh, Salute the Sickos. This is an AEW show for the AEW fandom to get to know every fan that we can and get to hear their story and where they start from here. My name is Marcus, and I have with us today Jess. Jess, how are you doing today?
Greetings from Columbus, Ohio. I am doing absolutely peachy keen.
Well, great to hear. So every story starts somewhere. So I'd like to entertain the notion of where your fandom began.
Well, it actually began by complete chance. My dad worked for a newspaper back at the time. At the time, this was in 1998, and he was a circulation manager at our local paper, which means he was in charge of the paper carriers. And he was doing a program with them where basically an incentive prize was tickets to the WWF, the WWF at the time, Raw show in Cleveland. And I didn't know anything about wrestling, but I got to go along because he was chaperoning the trip. So I started watching to sort of so I would know what the heck was going on when I went. I got sucked in, and the rest is history.
So you say 98. That was around the time of the situation with Owen Hart. Was that the year, or was that
It,
I can't
it
remember the
was
exact
it
year.
was it was the next year. I had been a wrestling fan for a little bit before
Okay, so
that.
you knew Owen. You knew who Owen was and
Mhm.
stuff like that. So how much besides 98? Do you go way back? Have you studied the history of wrestling?
Oh, sure. I have been watching basically every major WWF pay-per-view, starting with WrestleMania 1 with my husband as like a little side thing for funsies.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty well versed in history. As a matter of fact, my little thingy is actually a play on Bam Bam Bigelow's finisher. Greetings
Mm-hmm.
from Asbury Park. Greetings from Columbus, Ohio.
Mm-hmm. So, what's one of your favorite pay per view or one of your favorite matches you've watched?
Oh boy, that is a difficult question. I have seen a ton. I have a lot of favorites. I have a lot of unfavorites. Um, jeez. Put me on the spot here. I have to say, out of like the historical matches that I've watched, um, the ladder match series between HBK and Razor Ramon is
Okay,
they're excellent. They still hold up amazingly.
very good. I 100% agree with that one. They kind of revolutionized the ladder match, and that kind of turned into TLC and a whole bunch of different other types of matches, which are some of the best matches in in both companies. But tell me, so 2019 rolls around. What are you doing when AEW comes around?
Not actually watching that much wrestling. I had finally, much to my husband's utter relief, finally tapped out on WWE. He got sick of it way before I did. I kept finding reasons and different wrestlers to continue watching for, but as every week passed, I couldn't justify it to myself. I don't know if you remember the product at the time, but it was bad.
Yeah, yeah, it was. Uh, I don't. Yeah, I stopped watching it for a little bit. So before we get into your AEW questions, I want to talk about your Mount Rushmore, your personal Rushmore, and also tell me how you got there.
Okay, I have a five-headed Mount Rushmore.
Okay, that's
Um,
fine.
it's basically I have slots for best hardcore wrestler, sicko
Hmm.
that I am. I best technical wrestler, best high flyer slash lucha, best storyteller, and best overall.
Okay.
Best hardcore wrestler, Mick Foley. Mick Foley is probably my favorite legend. I love him. He is like not only he is the sweetest guy ever to wield a barbed wire covered ball bat.
Hmm.
Love him. I was over the moon when he debuted this
Yeah.
a couple days ago for AEW.
Yes, I was too.
Next up, best high flyer, possibly the greatest modern luchador of all time, Rey Mysterio Jr.
Mm-hmm.
There are two kinds of people: people who will agree that Rey Mysterio is great, and people who are lying. Best technical wrestler, Bryan Danielson. It's close. It's a tight squeeze between him and Bret Hart and Kurt Angle, but
Mm-hmm.
got to go with the GOAT.
Yeah, I agree. He's done a lot, and he's shown it. Yes.
Best storyteller is Bray Wyatt.
Okay.
I I think he revolutionized what can be done in a creative sense using wrestling as a medium, because he truly tried to use it as a literal art form.
Mm-hmm.
Some might say he could have told his stories better, like in pretty much any other medium, if he tried to make an independent movie.
Yeah,
But he was a wrestler, and he wanted to use wrestling as his medium.
that's a really
Um,
good. That's a really unexpected one for me. I wasn't expecting that. I love Bray Wyatt. I wish they would have booked him a little better. Maybe beat uh, the Undertaker like he should have.
beat
But
John Cena like he should have.
yes, but that didn't. That's a directive, and he just gone away too soon. I wish uh, he could have stuck around longer. He did a lot of good things. I didn't like the Fiend necessarily, but I loved his swamp gimmick.
I like both. I found the Fiend and the Firefly Funhouse absolutely fascinating. We
Mhm.
will never see his like again, and that is sad.
Yes, it is. So,
And
so
the
that
greatest overall is sorry to cut you off.
no, go ahead.
Greatest overall would be Mr. Kenneth Omegle himself, Kenny Omega.
Okay.
Um, I doubt anybody would argue with the absolute greatness that Kenny has brought to the sport. Well, some people might, but I don't hold their opinions to account.
I think the people who argue that have not seen him at work, and they really base their knowledge off of a certain few podcasters who like to talk down about Kenny. But every professional wrestler I've heard talk about him, and that's where I base my opinions off of. It say that he's one of the best.
Yeah, I mean, like, you can listen to the tennis playing loudmouths of the world,
Mm-hmm.
or you can just let his work speak for itself. Watch
Mm-hmm.
some tapes.
So uh, 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 let's talk more about your fandom and stuff. So I'm I want you to name one specific wrestler that is your guy or gal that you say I'm ride or die with this person no matter what.
Hard decision. I really love so many people in AEW for so many different reasons. It's like being handed a Whitman sampler and saying, pick one favorite chocolate.
Yeah, yeah, I agree.
Um, if I have to pick one, though, gun to the head, John Moxley.
Okay,
He fascinated me with his work as Dean Ambrose. I am a self-admitted Shield girl. Uh,
okay,
I loved it. Yeah, I found him fascinating. Um, I even as his what he was given to work with got worse and worse, he still did his damnedest to make chicken salad out of chicken.
yeah,
Um, and when he debuted for AEW, I was so happy to see him. And through thick and thin, he has been my ace. He is probably like the best go-to guy that AEW has.
okay. Yeah, I can't argue. I'm not. I don't like his Death Rider stuff when it first came out, but he's really changing my mind with his Continental belt and stuff, and doing all these things and helping out people like Kyle O'Reilly to get his name out there and other stuff. So I applaud that for him. Um, so so I just want to name a few AEW wrestlers off the top of my head, and I want you to tell me what you think of them and just a brief few words about how good they are, what you like about them, and what you don't. So I'm going to open up with Tekla.
Tekla. I don't have the Joshi background that some of the people I talk to do, so I wasn't familiar with her work when I first saw her. All I could tell is that she was one of the coolest people I had ever seen in my life. She was like she like comes out and she's like this absolutely badass spider woman, and she continues to be an absolutely badass spider woman. Love her. Great champion.
Okay. Yeah, I love her. Jay Lethal.
I met Jay Lethal once. It was at a Ring of Honor show, and I wanted to take a selfie with him, but I am terrible at selfies. I'm still terrible at selfies.
Yeah.
Um, some people would have gotten impatient with my inability to take a selfie, but Jay Lethal refused to let me leave his side until we got the selfie correct.
Mm-hmm.
He was like one of the absolute shining stars of Ring of Honor. I always loved watching him work. Um, I wish I got
Yes.
to see a little more of him, but I think
Okay.
he'll be pretty great in my eyes.
Okay. Sammy Guevara.
The best ever. Maybe not the best ever. Um, he's cool. I actually saw the ladder match he had with Cody Rhodes the last night Cody was in the company. That match was amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Not my favorite, but I don't hate him.
Okay.
He can become, he's kind of an obnoxious little shit, and maybe that's on brand for him. But
Yeah. That's on brand for him. So, last but not least, Tony Storm.
yeah, the whore you can't ignore, the slut you can't rebut, the absolute shining, sexy queen of the women's division. I miss her already. Um,
Yeah.
she's incredible. I do not think anyone else alive could have taken something as weird and silly as a gimmick as you think you're basically Norma Desmond now. You think you're a silent movie star,
Mm-hmm.
and run with it and make it this whole amazing thing.
Yeah. I agree. She's done a lot, and I hope she comes back soon. I don't know if this is all storyline or what's going on with injury or whatnot. No injuries been reported, but I just can't wait for her to come back. I think the division needs her a little bit. Um,
Well, rumor has it that rumor has it she had to step away because she was going to have a kid, and that is going to be a fabulous baby. If so,
it'd be a very wild child if it comes out. Yes. So you mentioned you've been to an AEW show, never a pay-per-view, but a Dynamite. Tell me about your Dynamite experiences.
I've actually been to one Dynamite and a couple of collisions. The Dynamite I went to, like I mentioned, was Cody Rhodes' last show and also Danhausen's first show with the company.
Mm-hmm.
So got a great ladder match and got a couple of curses out of it. It was an awesome show. Wardlow came out at the end to give a little speech because he's from around these parts.
Mm-hmm.
It's like always a great atmosphere going to an AEW show. I
Mm-hmm.
wish they'd come around here more often, but all the shows they do here now are connected to GalaxyCon, and if you want halfway decent tickets, you got to have con passes. It's a whole thing.
Yeah.
I would say just hold shows by themselves here.
Yeah. I understand that completely. And stuff. I've been to a few, and there's always seems to be chanting left and right of catchphrases that it's usually a good time. I don't think I've ever had a bad time at an AEW show. There's not a lot of fighting. There's not a lot of angry people. It's just an all around good time. Um, one thing that I want to say how you feel about it. I've been to a WWE show and an AEW show, and one of the big differences, and I want your opinion, is AEW seems so more streamlined. No, it's not kiddie. It's not. so many commercials. What do you think about that?
The last WWE show I went to was before the show became absolutely infested with ads.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't have to go through that, thank goodness.
Yeah. I went with my nephew, and it was nonstop breakage in between. It really took me out of the moment and stuff, and I didn't like it. So, speaking of things you don't like, if you could critique one thing that AEW needs to change, what do you think it would be?
I think there's too many pay-per-views. I know that's probably a hot take because AEW pay-per-views are always fire, but I kind of missed the way it was back in the early days. It was sort of old school where you'd have like 4 or 5 big shows, like big pay-per-views, and then sort of like supplement that with TV specials like your Fighter Fests, your
Mm-hmm.
Winter Cummings. It made each pay-per-view seem more special because so much time was spent building up to it.
Yeah, I agree. I I enjoy those days to a point. I think they need it like every other month instead of every month, and then filling that gap because there used to be a time where it was like 2 or 3 months away, and I was begging for a pay per view. But I think they've figured out their niche. They may change that in a while. So I want to give you one last shout out of uh, if you have any thoughts to pass on to the AEW fandom, and then we will wrap the show up.
Don't change. We have built a great community of great fans. This Sicko Nation is amazing. We don't need to be the biggest. We don't need to be the most ad saturated. We just need to continue to be ourselves. People are seeing, especially as the bigger, more bloated competition gets less and less bearable by the month. People are sort of stepping away from the tribalism and seeing what a great alternative AEW is.
Yeah.
And that's awesome.
Yeah, I have really seen this year there be a turnaround with some ex WWE fans coming over to AEW, and even on our subreddit, uh, AEW Fan Hub on Reddit, I've seen a lot of ex WWE fans come in and say, "Hey, catch me up. What do I need to know?" and stuff, and that's great for for business and great to grow the business to get it to where it needs to be to make it healthy.
Always glad to welcome the brand new baby Sickos.
Yes, I agree. Well, I thank you for your time, Jess. Um, really enjoy you coming on and hope to talk to you again sometime. Thank you much.
Thank you very much, and good night, Eddie Kingston.